Okay, this is another one of the videos that we wanted to get out, sort of following up on the original blog articles, and it's keeping it simple. So this is one of the biggest issues that face MVNOs, because mobile is difficult. Right? Mobile is difficult, but just because it is difficult, has a very steep learning curve, there's a lot to do, does not mean that you have to make it difficult. It's actually more of a reason to keep it simple. So yeah, this is a vlog article, if you like, doing an update on the older blog articles, updating it a bit, bringing it back up to date, and adding some of the information that has come to light since the original articles to give you guys a bit more, value of this resource that has been used by many people over the years. So yeah, keeping it simple is one of the big issues, and it sort of leads, if you haven't seen the video on having a fixed launch date, do have a look at that, because that, and I'll put a link up here, but that is tied very closely to this, in that a lot of the time people would have a fixed launch date to do something very complex, and things would fall out, and what is always better, as it's become easier to get things to market, and you don't just have that one shot that costs you a fortune, and if you miss it you die. It's with the more flexible platforms, you still have to pick a fixed launch date and make sure that's hard, which is in this other video that I was just talking to you about. But what you don't need to do is make it very hard for yourself. What is key is, with this flexibility, you still keep that fixed launch date, but you launch something simple that helps you fail quickly if you are going to fail, or enables you to get something out to market, validate it, and then build on something that is actually real and customers want, rather than building in your head this great golden goose. And there are many benefits of this, right? Starting simple always phases your competitors. So every time a new product launches in the market, quite often it can be a failure just because competitors see it as a bigger threat than it actually is. Certainly at that time, right? The amount of times I have had calls where people have tried to hijack a big MVNO project because of someone else's launch, or even an existing company's launch, right? They'll suddenly go, right, you know, one of the biggest problems is sort of pricing, right? I mean, a lot of people try to, if their imagination fails them in terms of how to get product differentiation, they'll go for price. But price is not product differentiation. A, it's not differentiation, and B, you're creating a differentiation that any idiot can beat you at. So when you are creating a product and it has to be properly different, the biggest problem you had is, like, so we've been about to launch a product, we've agreed on a price and we've done everything, and suddenly, you know, a competitor, big, small, will launch, for example, a great example, when I was trying to launch an MVNO, which was very political, Three launched their 321. It was, yeah, it created a big kerfuffle in the market. It was 3 pence for something, 2 pence for something, and a penny for the other. I can't remember. One was voice, one was data, and one was SMS. And that was a lot lower than anyone else in the market was at. Everyone was at 5, 10, I don't know, 15. And it created a massive kerfuffle. And it was ridiculous. You don't know how many stupid emergency meetings I had about this. But at the end of the day, that network operator had exactly the same market share 3 months, 6 months, and 9 months after launching that ridiculously cheap price. Is all that went down was probably their margins. Fortunately, you know, Three has had a lot of success now with data. As data grew, it didn't matter. But that, you know, the launching these really cheap prices is not a good thing. So never underestimate how important and how difficult your competitors will be, right? So actually launching a very simple product and keeping it simple is very important, because you launch something very simple into the market and your competitors go, that's not gonna, yeah, don't worry about that. Well, they should be worried, but they're not. And the bigger you make a product, the more they will be worried about something that's probably not a worry to them anyway, because the bigger you make something, the more likely it is to fail. So keep it simple. Get it out there, validate it. And again, the tariff is not important, right? If really there is a direct correlation with how important you think price is to how crap your product is. Get that into your head, right? If people are obsessed with price, it's because they don't believe in the product they're launching. Full stop. Every single product that is groundbreaking, different, or truly unique comes to market at a premium, and nobody buys things based on price. It is a fallacy. You can go and look in the shopping basket of people who are going to the lowest cost supermarkets and look at the products in their basket. They will not all be the cheapest of the cheap. There may be 2 or 3 commodities that are the cheapest of the cheap, like a can of beans, because God knows beans, or this is a UK example, or potatoes, or something that has been so commoditized and devalued that people don't see the value in it. But in general, everything else will have X brand of cereals because I like these, and they'll have, and every supermarket that is in theory low cost has a taste of difference, right? I mean, this is, and even low cost airlines, you look at the low cost airlines, that's the deal to get you in there. But by the time you've paid for an upgrade, for a better seat, for a LADAR, there's all these different things. When you look at it, people really don't buy things on price. There may be a period of time when people buy things on price, but generally it's when the market has been so devalued that you are looking at a pure commodity, and people are so angry at a product that they're looking at pure commodity. And this can happen sometimes with, for example, bundles. These big mega bundles. People are just going, well, he's giving me 50 gig, he's giving me 100 gig, and she's giving me 500 gig and a free fla. Yeah, it may just come down to price. But if you have something unique, which if you're going to launch an MVNO these days, it needs to be unique. Price is not important, and customers will expect it to be at a premium. You've got to then listen to your customers. If you get a simple product out to market and listen to your customers, and this is where you can launch what I call below the line marketing. The biggest problem with launching an MVNO is that all your above the line, if you think of the line of above the line, is like literally what your enemies can see. The more that there's public, and the more tariffs, and the more complex that you are, the more that your competitors are going to try and get rid of you, and they do. I have been in that situation where customers have said, X, Y, and Z is launching. How do we destroy them? Maybe illegal, may not be ethical, but this is, believe you me, this is a conversation they have. But if you launch something really simple, they won't be doing that. They'll be just going, have you seen this? And I love it when people say, have you seen this? I mean, what do they expect? Well, actually, they will get it out. They'll get to the customers. They'll listen to the customers. And then they will launch the new services and benefits via SMS and via those original customers. And that is how you get an immensely successful product. I remember when Virgin launched, it was fantastic. Everybody was going, everything's now in a bundle. How on earth do they think they'll be successful at I think it was a 10 pence a megabyte a message in a minute? How on earth is that going to be successful? And I remember the TV campaign was brilliant. They had the guy from the royal family, which was a kind of a situation comedy that challenged the status quo, and he was going around the docks of Liverpool, I think, going, £25 every month I give for this. What do I get for £25 a month? And that simple product that Virgin got out there, that I think was forecast to get 200,000 customers within a period of time, they had 2 million customers within that period of time. Why? Because they got something simple out there that people could relate to. When they called up customer care, it was so simple that anybody who worked in customer care could explain it to them. As opposed to when all these complex tariffs, you ring up customer care and they have to pass you to this person who passes you to that person, and they'll never answer your question because it's too complicated. Keep it simple. And when I say keep it simple, don't be lazy simple, right? So there's a lot of people say, oh yeah, keep it simple. I'm going to give out free social networks. Okay, there was a very brief period of time when network operators were too big and too slow to do this, that giving away free WhatsApp or whatever would have got you a few customers, but it's not made any groundbreaking MVNOs. It didn't last long, and that boat's sailed, sunk, and is in the Mariana Trench. So do focus on simple, but that simple has to be like the design simple. It has to be something that's been thought of and is a simple USP. And you can see there's a slide I'm going to put in here which basically makes you ask those questions, like, does it address a problem, does it have a benefit, and does it have a niche? And if you can answer those questions honestly, then it is simple and you have a simple product. So yeah, I think I'll then get into another one where I go into what I call a Frankenstein product. What happens, one of the biggest problems, the opposite of keeping it simple, is people will create what I call the Frankenstein product, and it's literally every consumer, every business, every wholesale tariff that people have seen over 15 or 20 years in every country in the world, they try and make one super tariff with it, and it's awful. The opposite of keeping it simple. So yeah, this is adding to the old content that has been up there. I will put at the bottom of the article some updates. Keep checking the article to make sure I've not missed anything. But if you liked this content, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll get some more things. Think about subscribing to the webinars, because we will be discussing topics that are bang up to date every week, mostly. And yeah, do make sure that you check out the blog article, because there will be some updates, and I do update those every so often. And yeah, there will be not only text updates, but a new video whenever things change, because ultimately it's just a lot easier to get a video out and update than it is to spend ages making sure that you get your copyright.